Hello and welcome to JOKAKAKA. I'm Jim,
I'm Sam.
and we're talking about the new Rohan Kishibe one-shots that came out. These are the one-shots that came out in what? May? No,
April?
April and May
Yes.
of 2022.
Yeah, I read the first part, and I was like, yeah, it's probably better if we wait for the both parts to come out before we review this one, and yeah, I definitely was right about that.
So this is called episode 11,
Yes.
Drip Painting.
I think it's 11.5 is for part 2.
All right, that makes sense.
But-
Drip painting style.
But yeah, I thought this is pretty interesting. I guess this really is like the most like meta Rocky has been about like anything.
Yeah, it's really interesting that he's taking this time after part 8 to just kind of compress his thoughts, decompress, I guess, his thoughts and his
Yeah,
there's a lot of random stuff here. It's not even just about like creation.
He has the microphone, and he's like, I have a lot to get off my chest. And he's doing it for 3 months at least. So, but speaking of drip, look at this Ultra Jump. I think last month he had the Ultra Jump cover. And this Rohan art is just very good. He puts the drip in drip.
It's very nice. Araki,
I love when he gets
always
covers.
killing it. As much as I would love Joe to return properly, I do love getting these Rohan chapters.
We're still getting content from Araki, and I think that's all that matters. Like,
Yeah, seeing that he's still like he has a lot to say. Like you can tell that he has a lot
I
to
feel
say.
like he wants to say it in a way and not have it incorporated into this part because it probably doesn't maybe fit for what he wants to go and tell the story wise. Maybe
Yeah.
like. Which I think Rohan's the best story, and he's like really loving like the characters. Like his editor, what's it called, Izumi, he's coming back, and I guess he really likes her now, and I love that she's like a prevalent character now in Rohan's.
And Baki, and we have the
and
dog.
Baki, the dog he loves the most canonically.
It's funny because I think the reason why she exists is because we kind of need someone to bounce off of Rohan, so it makes sense that there's
I
like
love
a
it.
character.
And, like, instead of just like relying on like you get like Koichi, he could easily pick Koichi, but I guess he wanted to make a new like a female. He's been going more into female characters slowly.
It's true, yeah.
And I kind of like
Finally.
appreciate that. I really do.
But
Her design's great.
Yeah, before we really talk about like the content, before we give like kind of a breakdown of this, interesting to me that it's called drip style painting, and it has
Nothing to do.
like the titular drip style painting is only like literally on page 1.
It's literally the conversation starter.
And then I guess you could say that it comes back at the very end with her spaghetti sauce drips onto the page.
The real drip, yeah.
But I don't know. I'm trying to like. I mean, I just read this today, so I haven't really like let it marinate in my brain. But I wonder if there's like any reason, any sort of. Is it supposed to kind of be the idea that like Rohan as well as Araki is taking personal influence from things in his life? Because there's a lot of things that kind of line up with like this little story that Rohan tells.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Continuation of his, I think, his current manga, because the current manga always has Heaven's Door in it. So this is like his continuation of it, not his manuscript anyway. We're past that.
Yeah, I do also love the way, like, how he does the titular drip style painting. He basically just, like, gets a lot of ink on his pen, and he kind of, like, swivels it. He, like,
His
kind of,
scalpel pen.
well, that's just how...
I know. His pen always look like that, but I love how it looks.
That's how pen nibs look. But, yeah, he just kind of, like, lets it drip. Like, he just splatters
Drip?
it
It looks
on
like
the
it drips. It
page.
also looks like he kind of like something he would like
He
flick.
flicks it, yeah.
Like
Like how a painter would add, like,
God.
that effect.
Remember
on
that
their painting.
that gimmicky toy where like it would like spin, the thing would spin, you just you put paint in there and then make like a tie-dye kind of circle.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like kind of close to it.
I don't know.
But
I mean, that's
but
just,
it's a less
spinning.
artistic, more of a mess version of that. But yeah, she like basically comes in holding. Imagine your editor comes in just holding coffee over your fucking manga art that you're trying to make.
Fucking, she's such a jerk. Like,
And this is before she's
she-
like intentionally trying to do this.
and also, yeah, like the
Like, oops, I dropped it. Just kidding.
the cap is also, or the top is also
Can't
off
get
too,
the cap off.
which just would imply that like there's a high chance of actual drippage here.
A chance for drip. But yeah, I love her. I love her. Like her design, her outfit's always changing. He's just having a lot of fun drawing Rohan and her in various outfits and everything. You gotta love that.
Yeah.
I'm glad Araki's women design has been like getting so much more diverse.
It's really interesting too to see how his evolution of like the way he draws faces. Because
Yes.
obviously, like Rohan is going to look very similar to how he's always looked,
you
but
could
this
see-
character is much newer in style.
You could compare it to like Yukako's first appearance in part 4, where she's like that incredibly detailed, like pretty girl face you would see in like that kind of era of manga, and you kind of see it now.
Bishojo, yeah.
Yeah, and now you kind of see like this is Araki's like 7-8 style. Like
Yeah.
the faces aren't that close of detail you would have.
I think it's interesting too that the faces are like a lot chubbier.
Yes.
There's a lot more like distance.
That's what I was thinking. Like the word to describe it, chubby faces.
She has like a chubbier face, and I remember in the anime adaptation of what was the corn one? I think that's the one that she's in.
Yeah, she's in that. The other, the live action version of that one as well.
Oh, I wonder what they cast for her. But yeah, like they kind of went with that style too. Like she's not supposed to be like chunky, but
No.
her face is, and it's a nice little. I don't know.
And he loves the hair swoops. Those hair swirls.
Yeah, they're very iconic.
Yes.
They're very iconic.
But yeah, we have and I was at a Rocky, but Rohan's crying over his art, even though it's a happy story. He's crying about something. But then like Rohan like basically turns to the reader
He
essentially
does.
and says like, "Let me tell you about episode 11, which is what this part is," and it's just like about when he. Because like this wording was like didn't make sense until you get to the second part of like when he goes to have invited to like interview somebody, a decent person with a certain background, to discuss the issues with the world, and then the story ends bad essentially.
So he does say that he was invited to their home.
Yes.
So presumably we never saw that. We
Yeah.
never saw that part of the meeting, unless like I don't know that he's just lying.
And this could be a meta thing where like he talked about these world issues like with somebody in real life too, like the global warming and all that, and like climate change and all that stuff.
One of the strangest little like throwaway lines is when he says, "I strive to draw a manga that gives my readers hope and something to think about." But then he talks about how like this story is nothing but like abyss and darkness.
He's like, Rocky must be, I feel like is going through like a depression right now, maybe of just like this existential like depression.
I
Of, like,
mean,
the world being fucked. Which I mean, he is.
It's
that's
very
true.
relatable.
Also, there's one panel when you look at the window, you can see his dog in the background, like a little like blob. It's really funny.
Yeah, there's a couple of Abakian shots that
You'll
I
see
love.
his monitor setup as well.
Oh yeah, he's got that. He's got that cutting edge shit.
I mean, he has that money.
It's interesting though. He still does like he doesn't do digital illustration. Like Rohan here is actually drawing everything.
Yeah.
Which I wonder. I guess Araki probably doesn't do digital either. He probably does everything.
Yeah, and just maybe uses the digital maybe for references or like
Yeah.
or maybe just emails or to send out like maybe a copy of it, like a picture of it to like his editor, even though she pops it to his house all the time now.
I really wonder though, because I don't know how confirmed anything really is, but I think from what I'd heard about like late or mid to late part 8 is that Rocky's assistants mostly do the backgrounds.
Yeah.
So I wonder, because like you look at the backgrounds here, and there's a lot of cars in shots, and they look like the kind of like sort of technique where they take like a photo and like mangify it. Like
but that manga filter, the black and white filter.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if his assistants do that. I don't know. I'm just speculating that Araki's probably doing most of his work on like actual pen and paper rather than digital, but who knows?
There's probably interviews out there. But yeah, we kind of go right into the story about we have a basically the gist of her is she's cheating on her husband essentially, and she's basically like leaving it, like kind of neglecting her family or her husband and her child, who she leaves like at a kindergarten. But she also bumps into like a mysterious car next to her, and like.
But who is she, Sam? Who is this important lady character?
Mitsuki, who's only relevant in this part. But yeah, everything's kind of going like shitty. She's kind of having a crisis, I guess. But she's also kind of shitty.
I mean, she put herself in this position.
Yeah.
I don't have any sympathy for this woman.
No.
Who's cheating? Okay. It's one thing to cheat on your spouse. Like, I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
I think it's kind of bad. But if you're cheating on your spouse to the point where it's like detrimental to your child,
Your child's crying
who's in kindergarten
alone, and like without like saying, "Hey, can you pick up the kid?"
This is like big Nanako vibes. Like this child
Nanako.
is basically a Nanako in training.
And like, yeah, she talks to the husband, saying like, "You were gone for an hour. Everybody's looking for you." Like the kid's home alone crying, and like,
So she's literally like she's lying to a thing that makes me mad because the child is waiting.
And she says, "I'll be there in 5 minutes." And she's like a half hour away.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I'm like 30 minutes out actually."
She has no time. You need to get the point across that she's out of time. She needs more time than that. She's like on cake ball. She needs more time.
But yeah, so I mean, what is there really to say about this? It's just kind of like fun like thriller.
Well, she hits like a mysterious spiky object at one point,
which she presumes is a boar because she sees like a boar statue.
that side was really weird.
She sees a boar warning of boar sign. Yeah, that is
Araki
really
was still
sign.
on that B sign kick. Of just like, yeah, there's probably a fucking. It looks like a fucking alien boar. It looks like it had like 3 eyes in the picture, which is like really funny.
Yeah, I really like this little boar illustration that he did here.
Like it has 3 eyes on the one side of it.
But yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I guess it's not a big deal. Like I don't see any. She like checks her car, right? She says she like
she checks for damages and like, but she doesn't really see anything because. As we learn what it was, it makes sure that doesn't make sense at all what happened, or like no damage was actually really done. But yeah, then she's driving an asshole driver. So I didn't think of this until the second part, where a lot of this is based off that legend of the one car that drives up behind somebody and like flashes their lights, gets really close to their bumper, and like honks their horn nonstop, where they think is an aggressive driver trying to kill them. But in the actual like tale, it's like a killer's behind them about to like stab them, and then them shining the lights so that every time they check their mirror, they have to duck down. So when they stop the car, they see the killer and they stop them. That's the urban legend tale that's
really
based off of, but
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's an old one, but this is like, but it kind of goes off the road where she just like that doesn't happen, she gets killed anyway.
Well, yeah, Rohan's big idea is we don't really know this until I think the second part, right?
Yes, imagine reading this like monthly, where just like where it ends in the first part, and you're like, huh.
So yeah, we don't know that the person who's like behind her and like bumping into her car is Rohan.
Yes. Also shoots a fire extinguisher at her.
Yeah, which, I mean, sure, that was one of those like classic Araki weird moments. Where
I thought like, did Araki have a really bad driving experience at first reading this, and then like when I realized what it was at the second part, I was like, oh, makes sense.
This the one part with the fire extinguisher, like the little like nozzle part comes out first, and I thought it was like an eyeball, or I thought it was like a mechanical eyeball, and then it's like, no, it's just a fire extinguisher.
No, and the weirdest thing is like you don't see a hand holding it; it's just out there like waving in the wind, but somehow perfectly aims at her, which is hilarious. Like Heaven's Door could be holding it, I guess.
Well, you do see his hand. You see,
you do see the hand,
like holding the actual body of it.
But you need to hold the nozzle to actually aim it instead of just like praying to God, praying to the Lord. Yeah, like Heaven's Door could be the one holding it, I guess.
Well, we learned that Heaven's Door can affect plants, so that was pretty fucking insane.
Stan's also good. Have you seen review for a lot of part 3 that Stan can just hold shit anyway?
It's true.
Jotaro literally catch bullets, so he can like hold on it and pickpocket it. Many things.
So yeah, then going to part 2, which just came out mere hours ago today.
As it's recording, yes.
At least the version that I'm reading.
Yes.
We do finally learn that it is Rohan driving the car, and he's desperately trying to stop her because, oh my god, as you said, there's a killer in the car behind her, or inside her car,
in her back seat,
trying to murder her.
Yes.
And I would say that he succeeds. Not after causing a big car accident, though.
I would have. Whoa! I can't believe critically acclaimed mangaka Rohan Kishibe is trying to kill me on this road. Oh my god! But yeah, he says he's behind you. He got him by climbing into the backseat of your car. But then like, cause you think at first, like, is this a stand? Like, that's the first thing you think of.
That was and I'm pretty sure, I don't think there's any stands in this.
No, it's just this
chapter.
man looks like a stand, like, and just like does like the fucking like a neck snap, like a Mortal Kombat fatality neck snap.
Yeah, what are they, like an assassination kill move in like a video game?
Yeah, where's like the cleanest neck break where they just like quickly put their hands and just like it's like a half a second neck snap.
It's like that. Not Thanos. It's what's his face? Zod. When Superman breaks
but like
Zod's
quick
neck.
Yes, sure, Jim. Yes, the Snyder fans will know. But yeah, and the car crashes. Rohan crashes, but he gets out kind of hurt, and that's when what's it called? Well, Rohan's like, why did it have to be me? And as we see this fucking crazy looking motherfucker like crawl off the car, he's completely fine. Which, if you think about it, like. If he died from that car accident, he would have just blown up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty reckless. I mean, he's quite a reckless
Reckless
guy,
for a man
but...
that has millions of dead man switches.
So yeah, I like the way this guy looks. I think he looks really cool.
He looks rad.
I don't understand
one of the
the design, but
one of the few characters where like people actually like talk about his actual outfit. Like,
oh yeah,
where they actually refer like, oh, he's wearing spikes. Where like most JoJo just does not like think their outfits are anything weird.
the other big thing too is that he's got like all the chemical pouches and stuff on him, so that is like relevant too.
He also knows about Rohan's dog, Biken or
Bakin.
I can't say Biken.
Biken.
I have Guilty Gear on the mind. Yeah, let me kind of get to see like a look of his face where he looks like he's wearing like two monocles.
Yeah, it reminds me of Urban Gorilla.
Yeah, very.
He had like one of those kind of things.
But yeah, he's just covered in spikes. Yeah, like you said, you see all the chemical pouches and like the wires and everything, and like he's just spiked up from head to toe. Rohan also called the police, and they're on their way. By the way, before this,
he's like, "Send the riot squad! Send the fucking killer dogs! Like,
get the snipers!
Get the snipers!" Like, all right, who is this? Like, sir, please stop calling,
sir. Goddamn it, Rohan Kishibe, you called us last. Yeah, that time you called us. Your house was on fire. But yeah. So, he does that standard JoJo monologue, like, he's a dog, he had about 15, 20 years left, that's the lifespan of a dog.
Yeah, some dogs live that long.
He does this random speech before he goes
to... like, we know Bakin is like a year old,
like a puppy.
Too.
I mean, even though, like, that's 2 years did pass that one, or that...
Was it 2 whole years? I thought it was 1 whole year.
1 year. It was 1 year, I think.
I didn't know this recently, but dogs are considered puppies until they turn 2.
Okay.
I didn't know that. So yeah, Bakin's probably still technically a puppy.
Okay.
But everyone knows about him.
Yes. So
I'm trying to think if it's maybe like how Junji Ito made like a little funny comic about his wife's cats that that hate him. I wonder if like Rohan did that, and that's why everyone knows about Bakin.
I'm pretty sure the video of Junji Ito like playing with a bunch of cats, or just talking about cats, like the interview with him. We just talks about that, where people always do compare thing of like here's Junji Ito like, out of character talking about cats, and here's Miyazaki like smoking a cigarette talking about how much he hates everything.
Yeah. Miyazaki's like very like old and jaded, and where Junji Ito is like. He's very pleasant, and he just seems like a very happy Japanese man. Whereas Miyazaki's like the most jaded, sad like asshole. Like he fucking hates his son.
But makes like some of the most best like kids teen movies for all across the world to enjoy.
Just nice all ages films, except Princess Mononoke. That one's not very all ages.
No,
his other ones are pretty all ages, I would say.
Nausicaa is kind of.
Nausicaa, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not Nausicaa.
And Porco, maybe.
Porco has some guns in it, but Porco's not super violent. It's like
there's a hand-to-hand brawl.
But that's funny. It's like Popeye shit. Like
it's like Popeye shit.
All right.
Popeye has beaten Saitama in a death battle.
Popeye is extremely fucking strong.
He has Toon Power. Toon Power, he punched the universe into nothing. Saitama can punch, but not at a universal level. I don't know. But yeah, so he back to Rohan. He basically goes into his global warming climate change speech about CO2 emissions, and we're all going to be dead because of this, and even people that try to fight it, they get corrupted by the people who are the rich corrupted businessmen, and just fucking help destroy the world in another way. And he's sick, and this man's sick of it. Because of all this, he lost his job, his family, like.
So he has nothing to lose anymore, essentially.
Yeah, he's been arrested. He's been had assassins sent to him apparently, and he says all I do is fail. I'm a sinking ship, and Rohan just says, "Stop it."
So what I think is really interesting here is Rohan's like pleading with him, because basically they're near a power plant. His plan is that he's gonna like detonate his explosives, like suicide bomber at this power plant.
It's a fuel plant.
A fuel plant to cause like some massive disaster.
But Rohan's just like, I get what you mean. Everything you said might be true, but just don't drag other people who aren't involved in this. Like, don't do this in my hometown.
So okay, that's the thing that I kind of am like mad about. This one, not mad, but like the villain even like calls him out on this. Rohan says like, you can do this anywhere you want, just not here, please. Like, just don't do it here, which I think is like such a like, what's the word? Like not reactionary, but it's sort of the idea of like, oh well, there's misfortune in the world, but it won't happen to like me. Like even though like the issue that Rohan is missing is that this global climate crisis that this guy is so concerned about is all encompassing. This would affect literally everyone on Earth. Like
Yes.
you can't just pretend, or you can't just like make it go to like you can't ship it like off to a different place.
Yeah.
It's going to affect everyone. And the guy kind of calls him out on it. He's like, oh, you're being kind of selfish when you say that. But he doesn't like.
Yeah.
He's more so like talking about how most of the time people migrate away from their homelands, whereas Rohan is like very proud to live in Morio still.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of an interesting angle. Like that is a big part of Rohan's character.
That's the reason why he came back. He moved there was to get more inspiration and like probably better mentally for him.
Mm-hmm.
Until he had like a mental migraine with like Josuke, but it died a couple of times. Almost died multiple times.
And it kind of, unfortunately, it kind of ends there. There isn't really like a resolution to that idea. It mostly just goes into how Rohan kills this guy.
Well, yeah, because he has like a bunch of dead man switches. Like he has like the most like foolproof like bomb suit because he has like nails in it. He has like explosive with nails and chemical stuff. And if he a dead man switch, if you fall unconscious, like if sniper blows my head and it's gonna blow up, it's like. If I were to fall unconscious, my body would be automatically propelled over the fence 100 meters away.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand.
I'm just
that
like,
one.
I don't think like if all the explosives on your back are gonna think you're gonna propel your body, then detonate the rest, and not just explode you right there and then. I don't think this guy knows like how that works.
I also don't understand like why was he in that woman's car? Like, why did he let himself get? Was it because Rohan was chasing him in a car?
I guess were he, but
I don't know.
Before we get, I was gonna say he also like talks about what's it called? He basically he knew. I guess he knew Rohan was chasing after him because like he said, I brought you all the way here to keep you safe. That woman I killed just happened to be driving nearby, so he just used her to get Rohan like out there so he wouldn't die. Even though he's like right down the road from the fucking thing.
That's what I just don't understand. Like, I mean, clearly this guy's crazy, so his plan doesn't need to make sense. But the way that it's being told to me doesn't make much sense. Like, why would he be safe if he's bringing him closer? I don't know. I don't really care, honestly. I don't really care for how this is resolved either. Like Rohan doing like a last minute, like, oh, whatever.
But
kind of ass pool moment or whatever.
One thing is like I don't care how you do it, but I want to capture what you're about to experience. You could even frame it as fiction, like a myth. You're the perfect man for the job. So basically, we kind of want him to like kind of tell this tale.
So I guess the idea is like,
is this Riddler?
I kept thinking the Riddler too.
So when he gets Heaven's Door, he's like, no, this is not how it's supposed to go.
So I guess the idea is supposed to be, this guy wants to bring awareness to the climate crisis by killing himself, which, funnily enough,
would fucking fuck up the climate by blowing up a fucking fuel mission plant.
True, but I don't know if you remember this, but this is probably about a month ago at this point. There was I think he was a lawyer, or some climate scientist, something like that, went to the Capitol building in the U.S. and killed himself.
Oh, I think I remember hearing something about that.
And it was because, well, he was obviously mentally unwell, but it was for this reason. He was so obsessed with the climate crisis that he wanted to like make a point by killing himself. I believe this is like last.
Did he have a sign on him to say like I'm doing this because of climate change?
I don't know.
So people could like get the point instead of just a man killing himself.
I think it was found out later after they like looked into.
They probably found his online.
Investigated him.
Yeah, maybe they found out like a note at his house or a computer document or something like that or email.
But I just think it's funny because like so this guy's idea would be, oh well, if I do this, it'll cause awareness. The horrifying truth is that no, it doesn't matter if you die and kill yourself to bring awareness. There also another thing too, like the futility of it that they don't quite talk about. They talk about like how everybody's responsible for this, and I hate that idea because it's really like the amount of pollution that like large corporations do is so much. It makes like what pollution that we do totally insignificant.
Look, nothing in the scale.
It's like nothing. It's like the joke that people always say. It's like when a huge oil spill happens, like, all right, how many paper straws am I gonna have to use to make up for this one? It's like we're talking about like magnitudes of difference between harm, like environmental harm.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We're only just getting now into more people having electric cars, which is like a lot less emissions, but like the least of the problems. Honestly,
electric cars don't solve
they don't.
the crisis because that energy, that electricity needs to still be created somewhere, which is causing emission. Like, I don't know. I'm very passionate about this subject.
They had problem with cows too. Just like they had to like change.
Oh, the sheep. Well, yeah.
But cows also just like because they had to change their like the food they fed them because it would just make them just emit so much
too much methane. Yeah. No, that was a thing in I think it was in New Zealand too. The sheep. They were raising so many sheep that there was. Literally, from the farts of the sheep, there was too much methane. It sounds like a joke.
It sounds like a joke, but it sounds like but like I think they're trying to find like a good alternative like diet that actually like works well for all parties involved.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like you can tell that Araki is like fearful for these things. Like these are things that are inspiring fear in him. But I think it's also very telling that I don't know. It's like he's trying to elevate it to like this explosion in your face crisis where that's not what it is. It's going to be this like long drawn out, like it's going to cause such a huge refugee crisis. It's going to cause like mass starvation because food sources are going to be limited, like droughts, or ironically like fresh clean water will also be something that's highly sought after. It's like much more than just like, damn, this guy blew up the construction plant.
Yeah. It's like and just like Araki like having like a conversation with one of like maybe an eco-terrorist like this that would like try to like take measures, but like he's like because he tries to he also frame it like a villain does, where they frame themselves as a hero because like he's like, so because the cops arrive, he says like, oh, the cops have finally come. He's like, so he's like, even when he's cornered with his back against the wall, his indomitable spirit still remains. Did it pick me that way? I'm just like, yeah, fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Yeah. Also, we didn't talk about how he actually detains it or incapacitates him.
It's
really fucking dumb.
He runs away hilariously, like with a lot of shit on his back. He tries to before Rohan does the like birthplace thing.
Rohan told the plants to suck up
because they are living
emissions. So he basically I don't know if he kills this guy. I think it's implied that he kills this guy because he suffocates him.
Yeah, because
he causes the plants to suck up the emissions, like the carbon monoxide, I guess, right? Carbon monoxide.
Because he uses the car. Cause he mentioned something about her car, like the women's car is gas powered. Is it just outdated? Was this a stroke of irony, or was it a whim of the mountain gods? Giving another, I guess, a supernatural thing. It's like, oh, the gods help me.
Yeah, that's kind of a recurring thing. The mountain gods are like a recurring thing in his stories.
Yeah,
which is funny because like in part 4 that was not at all like a thing. It's very much like contained to these one shots.
Yes. So yeah, they basically say fill them with the gas and like stick to the clothes.
And then they just like shoot the gas out and then they suffocate him to death.
Which I guess,
awesome.
Which doesn't trigger the dead man switches, I guess.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Because he doesn't flick the switches. He kind of just like tenses up. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I don't know. I also think it's dumb that it's like, haha, a funny irony. I killed the guy with the emissions with gasoline. It's like, yeah, that fucking sucks.
It also, like,
it's bad.
Yeah, and then we kind of cut back. We see like, a shot of Heaven's Door driving a car. It's like from his manga, but it's like Heaven's Door like driving the car, and it looks hysterical.
So do you think that is literally supposed to be a reference to Speed King driving the car? Because he's making a very similar face to Speed King when he drove the car.
It is very similar to that. I can see that being inspiration. But yeah, then Kyoka...
The thing that gets him out of his weird like sad boy story is the literal pizza sauce or tomato sauce dripping on the page. Like that's what causes the transition. It's really funny.
Yeah, but we find out that like when she leaves the room that she did it on purpose so he would stop. You know, he can't really draw when he's depressed. He wants him to draw like when he's happy, so there could be a happy ending to the story. Like.
And then the last little thing, they always have the little like tagline at the end. It says, "Embrace the darkness."
The story had a happy ending, right? Bakken sure it did. And then yeah, she's sad and everything still because she didn't want to see Rohan sad and depressed about everything, about the world being fucked.
Yeah, I think ultimately what this story kind of expresses is like the futility of sort of being aware of these things. Like at least this is how Araki interprets it. Like it doesn't give him any hope. He doesn't see. That's a part of the Rohan's like monologue. It doesn't like it doesn't inspire hope. It doesn't inspire any sort of change. It's
And
just bad.
And then, like you said, like even the people that fight it get like corrupted by it all, and like it's always for nothing. Like they make a deal, and forest gets gets like cut down in its instead of like the emissions or whatever, and just like
Yeah, and even like the noble, quote unquote, noble figures in this fight are the guy who ends up becoming a terrorist at the end. Like, so basically, Araki's saying that just accept the darkness. We can't change it.
The world is fucked.
And make your funny little mangas. Have your happy little stories.
It's like it's that one clip. You seen that clip of like the girl like our planet's dying, like.
No,
she goes on a rant and then just goes in like the COD. It goes into like, the COD like montage of like, but like it's like the girl in like the t-shirt sitting on the bed like streaming, just like our world's dying, our animals are dying, like our world's fucked. And, like she's just like ranting. It's like the most like you had to see this clip. But I'll show you after this. But like
okay,
it's very like that. Or like just like it's going like the world's kind of fucked kind of rant.
Very sad boy hours. I think it all, combined with the COVID stuff. I think it makes sense that
last issue was
Araki's
definitely him with COVID, and this one definitely like
I think it kind of makes sense how like the ending of JoJo Land might have been sort of distracted. Araki may have been distracted by other thoughts.
Felt like it
at the time, which I don't like hold against him, but
yeah.
I'm still not a huge fan of how that manga ended.
Yeah, we had a whole 6-hour video of the, but. Yeah, it definitely got that. Especially the last one, the Hot Summer Martha, felt like him about like editors maybe coming in there and also like messing it up a bit.
Yeah,
like, cause like that's what it felt like, and just interesting to see like if he ever like, talks more about the ending and how he feels. Does Araki really talk about how he feels about JoJo parts after their ending, about like if he had to go back and like really like
I don't know if he's ever like explicitly
them.
discussed endings. I know he has like characters that he enjoys, like he's talked about like certain character, like he loves Josuke, like just
it's just about characters, but I wonder if it goes back and like kind of retrospects like maybe like think like how he feels about parts, like what he would change or what he would add.
I feel like recently he was discussing the part 6 ending,
really,
and talking about like I can't remember exactly what the context was, but yeah, he was kind of talking about like how it was like one of the more like dark things that he feels like he's ever written, and it was like harder for him to, I guess, proceed with like how he wanted to actually end that. Yeah, which I think is a good ending. Like I think that part 6 has a really good ending, but
yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I wonder because like I feel like if afterwards, like, I would love to hear, like maybe he feels like what he would change in, like, the ending, because, like, we discussed that ending in of JoJo and Spades, and, like, we both did. I didn't feel super satisfied with it at all. I felt like
it
definitely felt like rushing when maybe he was like maybe he was just added creativity or just like a creative block, just kind of wanted to end it. It felt like a little like other than the guardrail story, that was like he just like.
Which in a way that almost feels like one of these one of these Rohan one shots where
really was
he was just kind of inspired by something different that wasn't tied to his like. How long were some of the Wonder Review arcs?
That's why I said
18 chapter long arcs.
When we reviewed that, I was like, this felt like a Rohan chapter. Like it didn't feel like a JoJolian chapter, and you're just like, but with like the editors told me to make more references to past JoJo, so I thought here's Joseph, here's Lucy. But like maybe he didn't want to reference all those past stuff.
Yeah, I really don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see how people kind of analyze the second half of part 8 as time goes on.
Yeah.
Especially if JoJo Lands starts.
Yeah, hopefully after this. So also did you look at the author note he had for this?
No, I don't think so.
Online videos. The only one that I'll ever watch are people falling down. Why can't there be more of them, I wonder?
Oh, I did see that.
And that's a quote from this.
Honestly, I relate to that. I do enjoy watching Russians fall off of rooftops.
It's a normal day in Russia.
I fell down like a rabbit hole of this one TikTok account that is just like people getting hurt, which sounds mean. But it was just like guys who are trying to do like a cool stunt and then they fucking fall on their face and it's funny. Sometimes it's really violent though. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, there was used to be an MTV show called Scarred, and it was just like skaters or like bike boys or like just doing
Buff
like
boys.
tricks or whatever and fucking up and hurting themselves, and then they show their scar, and like I cannot watch it. They would show like, oh yeah, here's a picture from the surgery, and
no.
sometimes you see the bone snap in the video. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
good.
that. I draw the line at that stuff.
Oh yeah, I fell on a rail, and the end of the railing had a jagged end, so I fucking ripped my balls. Like I can't show you the scar, but I got ripped my fucking balls out.
That happens to Josuke in the Born This Way fight, except this wasn't his ball sack. It was his,
he got extra. He has plenty of
He's
extra.
got enough to spare.
He has plenty to spare.
All right. Do you have anything else to say? I think I'm kind of done talking about this.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I just
did
said
you
all my
like this
thoughts.
more than Hot Summer Martha?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Hot Summer Martha I thought was much better.
Yeah.
This like I really do feel like it just kind of had like thriller energy, like not like the music video. I don't know why.
Big thriller energy.
It had
this man who's only seen Thriller.
it had like it had a lot of like good like construction. Like I thought the actual like car chase looked really good.
Yeah, I was like, when I first read
didn't care about the rest.
last one, like it literally just felt like Rocky had a bad driving experience. Then when I saw the second part, oh, this is that story of like the urban legend of like the killer bee in the backseat of a car.
Yeah, I mean this is like classic Araki, kind of just doing what he's inspired by, and I mean as I said, I enjoyed the little car chase, but it really was not very relevant to this Rohan story.
And now we have more power scaling with Heaven's Door of now that it can affect plants.
Plants can understand thoughts and like direction.
Also, there's it did the terrorist outfit did remind me of a weird Part 8 outfit. Also,
Yeah, kind of reminded me a bit of
also didn't
what's it called? Mitsuba Stand.
Oh, like Waking 3 Leaves.
Yeah.
Also, like the little things like he got to go on him to suffocate him was like reminding me of remember the little like was it I'm in Morocco where like
they were chestnuts
that like rolled down like stuck on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely he still has that Part 8 in mind in a lot of stuff though, or like and still has that inspiration from that universe, which it makes me excited for if JoJo lands. Hopefully it's gonna be next after 3 Rohan chapters.
Fingers crossed.
Then we can discuss in spades about that and talk nonsense of stuff that's probably not gonna be right by only a design.
Ooh.
Feed us more.
Give me that new JoJo design. I want to see him or her.
Or them.
Or them.
Could be two. Could be two people.
I thought you were gonna say a non-binary
Could be.
JoJo.
It could be. I mean, I feel like every character in JoJo, design-wise, is non-binary.
You're not wrong.
Like, I literally thought like when I played all the first I see JoJo was also about, and the first I saw Naruto, like, oh look at this girl. I'm like, oh no. You can have anime about Part 5 characters though, but other than Mista,
Bruno looks like a woman.
Yeah, I said all the best Bruno cosplayers are women.
That's true.
Like I think only Mista and Giorno I think I thought were oh yeah, they're guys right away.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Do you want to plug it up?
I guess so. Well, thank you all for listening to this. We hopefully, if Crazy Diamond Bizarre Heartbreak comes out, we'll have that. We've kind of been doing them for 2 chapters for each episode. For hopefully, we'll have that sooner rather than later because still haven't dropped as it's recording. You could also put your comments and your thoughts about this chapter, your expectations for the future, maybe. Or if you think we're gonna get more Rohan, if they're gonna actually get like we're gonna finally get some JoJo Land stuff. Let us know. You can also follow the podcast, our Twitter, or Media Gym separately. You could join our Discord as well. And with that, I feel that's all the plugs.
That's the plugs, baby. Them's the breaks.
I'm just happy at least doing another JOKAKAKA. So,
feels good.
Always feels good.
Feels good to be back.
Yeah, we don't have to do Joe Ska or Joe Attack on Titan. We're just in JoJo form right now.
We're in JoJo form.
We're still waiting on Part 6 anime in September, right?
I think so.
Ugh. Wait for content. It's killing us for JoJo.
Yeah.
But yeah.
At least we've had these little holdover chapters.
Yeah, I'm glad we still got some Rocky content, so I'm happy. And with that, I guess we will see you either in Whole Horse chapters or who knows after that.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.